What? You want me to get you some?
Got a lot of stuff. Welcome. Thank you for coming today. We are going to this is not an official meeting with us. This is a unofficial workshop with you. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to hear from about 43 of you. Each one of you is going to have 3 minutes unless you have multiple projects. And if you have more than one project, we're going to give you an extra 2 minutes. We did not do this in the past, and I know you might think, wow, how can I explain my great program and everything I'm doing that's wonderful in 3 minutes? But in past years, with our community considerations, we didn't even have this. So I thank you all on behalf of all the commissioners for coming today. We're looking forward to hearing about you. We know a lot about you already. We've had staff has looked at your request. Some of you have been funded in the past. Most of you actually have been funded in the past. The new ones, we've heard. There are a lot of ways we hear about you, but we're going to go. What we're going to do. The protocol is going to be we're going to take an hour, then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to go another hour, take another break, and then we'll go our third hour. And then after that, we actually have another commitment. The commission has a meeting downstairs at 4:30 that we're going to have to break and go down there. So thank you for coming. I'm just going to read out your name. There will be a light on the podium there. You'll start off at green. In 1 minute, it'll be yellow. So yellow doesn't mean you have to stop. It means you got to close it down. And red means that I'll have to close you down to be fair to everybody else that's doing this. Just finish up your thought. I will give you a few seconds, but really, we're not trying to be rude. It's just we want to give everybody equal opportunity here, as you do in your groups and your programs, I'm sure. Equal opportunity is the operative word. So let's start off. There may be questions, there may not be. Don't misread whether you get asked questions about our interest in you. We're interested in all of you. That's why we're here. That's why we're taking this time to do this. Senior Care Fellowship. Number one, come on up. If you'll just, in interest of time, just say who you are and then get into your talk. We already know your Senior Care Fellowship. After them, let's just do this. Let's do this. I'll do the first. Your time hadn't started yet, so you're good. I'm going to call the next three. And y'all, if y'all sit those seats on the front row there, and then you can go. And the next will be Folk Heritage Committee. The next will be Environmental Quality Institute. And next will be Historic Resource Commission. So if you'll sit in order, and then from time to time I'll just call out a couple more. So a Senior Care Fellowship.
Good afternoon. My name is Shirley Duncan. I am the volunteer for the senior program at Nazareth First Baptist Church. It is a unique program in that we only meet once a week, and that's on Tuesday from 10 until 2. And our program, at our meetings, we have a snack to get everybody settled down. And then we either have speakers, or we have crafts, or we have games. We're getting ready for a speaker for our church covenant. We're trying to learn about it in details. And we have 2 ministers who are teaching that for us. And every Tuesday, we have a hot meal, which is donated by Shirley Duncan and her friends. And we make sure that it is a very good meal. Every third Tuesday, which is today, and I'm sorry I'm going to have to leave you, but we have our birthday party for all the people that have a birthday in this month, or whatever month it is. And we take them out because some of them have never had birthday parties or been taken out to restaurants. So this is their big day today. We have some who have problems, but we try to take care of them. And the whole program is volunteered by everybody that participate. We have volunteers to help them in, help them out, go pick them up, bring them to the program, take them back. We have crafts one of a kind. On Easter, we make Easter trees and Mother's Day cards and flowers. And we usually feed about 20 people. And we are very thankful for the help that we get from you all because it helps us buy our supplies. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duncan. Any question for Ms. Duncan? All right, thank you, ma'am. Folk Heritage Committee, and then Asheville Community Theater will be next. So I'll just move down one. Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Loretta Freeman. I am here today to represent the Folk Heritage Committee. We are a hardworking, all-volunteer committee of local citizens who stage Shindig on the Green and Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. Shindig takes place at the Roger McGuire Green and the Buncombe Lamar stage. The stage is named for the founder of the festival, Buncombe Lamar Lunsford, and is held first weekend in August at the Diane Wortham Theater near Peck Square. We are proud to say that this is the 89th festival season for the longest running festival of this type in the nation. Shindig on the Green will open its 49th season on June 27th and will present music and dance of our region to thousands of people in a beautiful open-air setting backed by the city building and the county courthouse. Each of you have an information card with dates for Shindig and Festival. Please consider this as an invitation to attend one or more of our events. Shindig is free to the public, but the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival is a ticketed item. Our committee has felt for some time that our events have had quite an impact on the economy of our area. You should have information regarding statistics gathered from our Shindig attendees with regard to numbers of visitors and dollars spent. Other questions on our survey indicate that visitors take in many attractions in our region and stay over at local hotels. It should be evident from the results of our survey that we contribute a great deal to the local economy here in Asheville. In order to produce these events, the Folk Heritage Committee will incur debts for sound, house band, advertising, sales, inventory, and portable toilets. We will need to raise revenue to cover our expenses. Each season, we have raffle items and merchandise for sale. We also receive individual donations and corporate sponsors for support, which we are very grateful. The proceeds all go to funds to fund our program. I thank you for the time to speak about our committee and its work, and we thank you for your support.
Any questions for Ms. Freeman? Thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll hear from the Environmental Quality Institute. Then we'll hear Historic Resource Commission, ACT, and Just Economics. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. My name's Anne Marie Traylor. I'm the director of the Environmental Quality Institute, and I'm here to ask for $9,660 for the Volunteer Water Information Network project that we run here in Buncombe County. This project is currently co-funded by the Metropolitan Sewerage District, Asheville Green Works, and the City of Asheville Stormwater Services Division. This project fits mainly with the county's sustainability goals of partnerships for conservation of natural resources, conserving and protecting water resources, and improving water quality. VWIN monitors streams in 9 Western North Carolina counties right now, and we have more than a dozen partners with local nonprofits and local governments. We train volunteers to go collect stream water samples every month at their fixed locations. And right now we have 53 sites that are sampled monthly in Buncombe County. Samples are brought to EQI's state certified lab where we analyze the samples for turbidity, total suspended solids, orthophosphate, nitrate, nitrite, nitrogen, ammonia, conductivity, alkalinity, and pH every month. EQI offers paid internships and work study positions for local college students so they can help us in the lab and we can give them some experience in a professional laboratory. The goals of VWIN include environmental education and a sense of ownership for our volunteers. And as a first-time AmeriCorps host site this year, we are increasing our outreach and communications. We analyze the data annually and write technical reports which are distributed to our partners, and I believe you all have received a copy of the latest Buncombe County report. The data is used in planning documents and grant requests for watershed restoration projects. Some of these include the Ivy River Partnership that are working up in Madison and Buncombe counties with local towns and the counties to identify sources of pollution and help to eliminate them. Others include the Upper Swannanoa River Watershed Plan, the Newfound and Sandy Mush watersheds, which are some of our most problematic areas in the county, and urban streams and the stormwater, helping to manage the stormwater going into our urban streams. This year we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of our VWIN monitoring, and some of our volunteers have been sampling the same site since 1990. We appreciate the support of Buncombe County over the years. Funding goes to lab supplies, occupancy, and salaries. Thank you so much for your time. I'll take any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Just a clarification, you said 53 sites. I apologize, was that in Buncombe County or in the 9 counties?
Buncombe County alone, we have about 160 in the 9 counties right now. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Asheville Community Theater, then Just Economics, Historic Resource Community. I'm sorry. Jumping around, changing the schedule already. Don't want to do that. Your time hasn't started yet, so you go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you for allowing me to come before you with our request. My name is Brendan Ross. I'm a volunteer and the chair of the Historic Resources Commission of Asheville and Buncombe County, the HRC. We're asking for $10,000. We will use this as a local match for a certified local government historic preservation fund grant application to begin work on the county historic resource survey. The HRC has recently recommended the approval of a preservation master plan for Asheville and Buncombe County. The plan will be presented to you later this year. One of the primary needs identified in the master plan is a county-wide survey of historic resources, which is important in order to identify properties in need of protection and to establish context for review of potential new landmark structures in the county, like the Bascom Lamar Lunsford House. The Historic Resources Survey that provided the basis for the information in the book Cabins and Castles was performed in 1977 and 78. And that was about 40 years, so now it's about 40 years old. It's still a goal to try to work on a local government agreement to get the $5,000 we used to get for operating expenses. For the past 3 years, we've only received $4,500. Prior to that, we did receive $5,000 for a few years. If we can work out an interlocal agreement for dedicated funding for operating funds, we can use this $10,000 for a matching grant for the Historic Resources Survey in the county. If we don't get the $4,500 or $5,000 worked out, then the amount we get will have to go toward operating expenses. This would reduce our match for the grant and overall funding available for the survey, which is an established goal in the Historic Preservation Master Plan we've spent the last year and a half working on. The grant for the survey requires a 40% local match. I grew up in the county nearby. I'm passionate about recognizing and preserving that part of history here in Buncombe County. Before there was a city, there were people in the county building lives and building families. It's easier for everyone to recognize fancy buildings. We need to preserve where we started from, where our history in Buncombe County began.
So, Ms. Ross, you're asking for $5,000 operating and $10,000 toward the match for this inventory that we haven't done in 40 years.
Yes, sir. We would like to establish some kind of funding stream for the operating expenses. That's one of the goals in the plan. And the $10,000 would be for a matching grant.
All right. Any other questions for Ms. Ross? Thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll hear from Asheville Community Theater. Then we'll hear from Just Economics, Lenora Ryan, and NC Cooperative Extension.
Chairman Gant and Commissioners, thanks for letting us present to you today. My name is Susan Harper. I'm the Executive Director of Asheville Community Theater. Asheville Community Theater has been serving this community for 69 years. Our special role is that we put the community on stage. We produce great shows using community volunteers, and while this is amazing in and of itself, the important point is that we are the place that where the community gets to participate in the development of an art form, not as a passive audience member. We've also developed a full range of educational programs for children, and it is for those programs that we seek your support. A core value at ACT is that we are open and welcoming. It is difficult to be inclusive when programs have fees, so we seek funding for scholarships. I'd like to thank you for investing in our work this year and tell you a little bit about what that work did. Because of your funding this year, 93 children will have experienced the challenge, thrill, and joy of participating in the arts because we were able to offer them financial support. They will have joined 339 other children in our theater classes and camp, and that means that over 1/4 of the children that participated at ACT had some sort of a scholarship. Additionally, 105 children were invited to a performance which may very well have been the first time that they saw a live performance. Additionally, we've identified a need for a theater internship program for teens in the county who found meaning in the work done in a theater. A high-quality internship program has rigorous standards, is closely supervised by a professional in the field. It is truly on-the-job training for high school and college-age students. I'd like to share with you a few of the benefits of participating in the arts, and I think this is significant when we notice that the schools are cutting arts programs and these are not priorities. Increased awareness of self, mind, body, and voice, increased awareness of others, collaboration and empathy, improved clarity and creativity in communication, deeper understanding of human behavior, motivation, diversity, culture, and history, stronger problem solving and critical thinking skills, development of a sense of craftsmanship, quality task performance. And here's really the best part. Participating in the arts is all sorts of fun. We seek a small amount of money, $15,000, in an overall $900,000 budget, but we anticipate great returns on that money. We don't know how to solve many of the huge problems facing the world, but we do know how to affect lives one by one, and we'd appreciate your help with that. Thank you very
Any
much.
questions, Ms. Harper? Thanks, Susan. Next, we'll hear from Just Economics, then Lenora Ryan, NC Cooperative Extension, Black Mountain College Museum and Arts Center. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for allowing us this opportunity. I'm Vicki Meath, the Executive Director of Just Economics, and I'm here asking for your support of two programs having a significant impact on poverty remediation in Buncombe County. Just Economics works to promote a just and sustainable local economy, and we are most known for our work advocating for living wages. We successfully worked with Buncombe County in 2012 to develop a living wage policy for county employees, and we are asking you to partner with us once again as our work is in line with the goals and objectives of the county sustainability plan. Much like the mission of the county, Just Economics takes a multifaceted approach to poverty remediation by working with businesses, citizens, organizations, and government to promote a sustainable economy. A major part of this approach is working with business through our voluntary living wage employer certification program. Your support of this program will allow us to strengthen this work with businesses. This program is the largest program of its kind in the country, serving as a model being replicated all across the nation and most recently replicated in Durham, North Carolina. Here in this community, this program has impacted nearly $1 million a year of wage raises, keeping these dollars circulating in the local economy. For example, we worked with French Broad Food Co-op, and throughout that work, they raised wages of their workers by $125,000 over the course of the year in order to meet compliance with our program. They brought up wages without raising prices and effectively reduced the number of workers living below the poverty level. This is just one example of how this program is meeting the desired outcomes consistent with the county's plan. In addition to our work with businesses, your financial support aids us in our multifaceted approach by supporting our work to increase civic engagement. We work with low-wage workers and low-income people to have a voice in community decisions because we believe effective and lasting change comes about when people most impacted by the problems are involved in creating the solutions. This work contributes to poverty remediation by involving low-income people in efforts to remove barriers to employment. Who better to analyze those barriers and propose solutions than those people struggling to obtain a job? Our success in this area is most recently evidenced by the meaningful involvement of low-income people working with the City of Asheville to improve the transit system, improving access to employment opportunities. One of our members now serves on the city's transit committee, and we are actively engaged in creating improvements. This is just one example of the way in which Just Economics facilitates effective and appropriate civic engagement, having a broad impact on poverty remediation, workforce development, and a sustainable localized economy. Partnering with us, making a small investment in the work of Just Economics, allows us to build on our efforts to reduce poverty and illustrates the county's commitment to living wages, a sustainable localized economy, and a healthy community. Thank you so much.
Any questions for Vicki? Thank you, Ms. Meeks. Next, we'll hear from Lenora Ryan University. Then we'll hear from NC Cooperative Extension, Black Mountain College, and Child Abuse Prevention Services.
Good afternoon. I'm Laura Hopegill. I'm the director of the Thomas Wolfe Center for Narrative at Lenore Ryan University. And I have to preface this saying I'm in awe of everybody in this room. And it's just wonderful to be here. I'm here to request $16,000 to support Asheville WordFest for its 9th year next year. Asheville WordFest is a family-friendly and multicultural festival centered around the value of language in building community. Started in 2008, WordFest has steadily welcomed attendance in numbers greater than 1,000 for seats that fill 2 to 5 days of programming. Past WordFests have included poets from more than 25 cultural contexts and premiered 2 films at the Fine Arts Theater and offered workshops, community narratives, and panel discussions. While WordFest does not, as many of the other outstanding organizations represented in this room, directly deliver food, shelter, or health care to those in need, it does provide an opportunity for reflection and for imagining alternative futures for both individuals and communities. It is a source for creativity and innovation, a way of developing cultural understanding, compassion, and bonding across the county's diverse communities. It is a tool for exploring different points of view about what Buncombe County is, what North Carolina populations are, and for building connections between and revitalizing urban and rural areas. As a training ground for programming, it is an effective way of nurturing skills and building social capital, fostering intercultural exchange and understanding by consistently striving to represent and welcome voices from many cultures. Asheville WordFest is a way of attracting visitors and enhancing the image of Buncombe County for local people, as well as a forum for public, private, and voluntary sector collaboration and for regeneration and renewed interest in Buncombe County's identity in the face of ongoing and oncoming changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hopeland. Any questions for Ms. Hopeland?
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Next, we'll hear from NC Cooperative Extension, Mr. Duckett. Then we'll hear Black Mountain College, Child Abuse Prevention, WNC Communities. Steve?
Thank you, everyone. I wanted to talk with you a little bit today about the expanded food and nutrition education program. This is a cooperation of the federal government through USDA, and every county dollar leverages a matching federal dollar for salary for this program, plus the feds provide travel support for the position as well. We've worked with 184 families this past year and over 1,000 youth, making a difference in nutrition education. And to take a little different route, I just wanted to share a little story with you today of a participant in our program. This young man had been experiencing hunger and homelessness, and to help ease the pain of these conditions, the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service delivers the expanded food and nutrition education program to these limited resource residents. With this young man, he was experiencing hunger and homelessness, and having heard about the FNET program, he asked if he could attend a series of classes that were scheduled at a local Christian ministry site as a way to regain a more solid footing in life. He explained that he was currently living out of his car, so would not be able to practice cooking the dishes made during class. However, if allowed to listen to the information shared, he would learn better to manage his food resources and make healthy food choices once he was in a position to shop and prepare meals again. His goal was to become a productive citizen and regain custody of his daughter. The FNEP program assistant welcomed the homeless man into her class. As promised, he listened intently to the lecture and worked diligently alongside other participants during the hands-on food preparation sessions in each class. Impressed with his drive and determination, a fellow participant offered to share a spare room with the man until he could get on his feet. Together, they planned meals and pooled their SNAP benefits to purchase the ingredients needed to recreate the FNEP recipes practiced in class. Meals prepared in a kitchen sure trumped a diet of chips and Vienna sausages eaten in a car. By the time he graduated from FNEP, this once hungry and homeless young man had secured a job and regained his self-confidence. He said, "Graduating from FNEP has helped me realize I can finish what I start. This was the first goal I have ever set and actually achieved. My plans now are to continue working, secure a home of my own, and work through the system to regain custody of my daughter." He said he no longer considered himself a liability. Instead, with FNEP's help, he became a healthy, productive citizen and now felt he was an asset to society. Any questions? Margaret would have been with us today, who's our FNEP assistant, but she is currently waiting the arrival of a grandchild down at the hospital.
Cool.
So
She gets a
thank you for
green
your
pass for
attention.
that.
Boy.
All right, thank you, Steve. Next, we'll hear from Black Mountain College Museum, Child Abuse Prevention, WNC Communities, then the Mediation Center.
My name is Erin Dickey, and I'm the Development and Outreach Coordinator at the Black Mountain College Museum and Arts Center. We're requesting $20,000 from Buncombe County's nonprofit funding program in order to support the 7th annual Rehappening, which is co-presented every April with the Media Arts Project. I've distributed for the commissioners a couple of items. The first is the full program from the 2014 Rehappening, and the second is a fact sheet on the event. And I should note that since the 2015 Rehappening took place on April 4th, I can give you a brief report on this year's event towards the end of my presentation. Black Mountain College was a progressive liberal arts college with a renowned arts focus, located in the mountains of western North Carolina from 1933 to 1957. The Rehappening draws upon Black Mountain College's emphases on artistic process, collaboration, and work within and for the community. The event takes its name from what is widely considered to be the first happening or experimental multimedia art performance staged in 1952 by faculty member and famed composer John Cage. The Rehappening is deeply rooted in the history of Black Mountain College, which in turn is deeply rooted in the history of our area. At the same time, the Rehappening provides a platform for artists working now to present pieces that are collaborative and adventurous in an historically resonant setting. For 2015, the Rehappening Planning Committee selected 25 artist projects in a wide variety of disciplines from an application process that began in October. In addition, we collaborated this year with students from Odyssey Community School on an educational design project for the event. At this year's event, attendees began arriving at 3 p.m. to explore installations set up across the grounds and attend performances scheduled at intervals until the events close at 10 p.m. Attendees also had the option to purchase tickets for a special social hour and catered dinner from 5:30 to 7:30. All told, we had 773 attendees at this year's event. This number exceeded our projections for 2015 by over 40% and for 2016 by 19%. Meaning that this event is beginning to capture the imagination of people not just in our community, but across the country. Not only did we receive strong local press with the covers of both the Mountain Express and the Scene, the Rehappening was also mentioned in the New York Times recent profile of the Black Mountain College Museum and Arts Center. Funding support for this event is vital during its strong growth phase. By allowing us to hire an event coordinator and increase our marketing budget, the funds would take the pressure off of current organizers, most of whom have been organizing this event on a volunteer basis for years. Most importantly, the funds would allow us to increase local impact by upping the stipends for artists, most of whom are from Buncombe County, and expanding the number of free community events called pre-happenings. An event with this energy, originality, and educational possibilities will only grow, with the potential to draw more locals to the event and more out-of-town visitors to the region. On behalf of the Black Mountain College Museum and Arts Center and the Media Arts Project, I'm grateful for your consideration. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Child Abuse Prevention Services, WNC Communities, Mediation Center, and Asheville Downtown Association.
I'm Leslie Hanson, Chair of the Board of Directors and Interim Director at Child Abuse Prevention Services. The problem of child abuse and neglect affects too many of Buncombe County's children and everyone's future. Last year, Buncombe County Health and Human Services investigated over 3,100 reports of child abuse and neglect. National studies show that this represents only a fraction of the total cases, as many go unreported. Our ability to thrive as a society depends on how well we foster the health and well-being of the next generation. We are here asking for funding for our services. We provide prevention and personal safety programs in the schools to educate and empower children with skills and resources to protect themselves. Last year, our educator taught classes to over 10,000 area students. We also provide crisis intervention and counseling for children and families who have experienced abuse. It is truly a collaborative effort here in Buncombe County with many agencies and county services making our community a safe place for our children to have a happy and healthy childhood to reach their potential. Currently, we are collaborating with other area nonprofits, Buncombe County Health and Human Services, law enforcement, and the DA's office to help establish a family justice center and child advocacy center. It will provide easily accessible services to our community and enhanced collaboration to better meet the needs of our citizens.
Any questions for Ms. Hanson?
No, just a comment. I have my pinwheel on today,
Thank you.
and thank you for allowing us to participate in that the other day. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from WNC Communities, Mediation Center, Downtown Association, Asheville Lion's Eye Clinic.
Thank you, Commissioners, for your time today to share information on the programs of WNC Communities that are of benefit to your county. My name is Linda Lamp. I'm the Executive Director. You have previously received a listing of services and details on programs that WNC Communities provides to Buncombe County, as well as 19 other counties throughout the mountain region. Programs like the WNC Honors Awards, which are designed to recognize rural communities for implementing a variety of best practices to enhance the quality of life in their communities. Then there is the Journey Scholarship, a program created to support our region's youth in their pursuit of higher education. There are also numerous agricultural entities for which WNC Communities provides leadership and administrative support to, such as the WNC Regional Livestock Center, the WNC Brewers Grain Alliance, WNC Beef Cattle Commission, and the WNC Dairy Commission. But the most important point that I would like to make in my remaining moments with you today is that Buncombe County has been a partner to WNC Communities for over 65 years. The support from your county and all the county governments throughout the mountains have been critical to sustaining this organization and have been paramount in leading to opportunities to create a competitive grant program like the TVA Ag and Forestry Fund, or battling the woolly adelgid through the Hemlock Restoration Initiative, or provide funds to supplement the loss of tobacco income to farmers through WNC Ag Options. And a one-time program this year that is not listed on your handout is the School Energy Program, which will provide over $67,000 to Buncombe County schools to fund lighting efficiency projects. Now, these programs are funded by other entities, so why should I mention them today? Because they are of importance to your county and the region. And what I would like to point out is that those funding opportunities would not have been made available to WNC Communities on behalf of our region if support of our counties hadn't sustained us in some seriously lean years. One more item to note, that in taking an account of the programs listed in front of you as a measurable return on your investment would be over $100,000. WNC Honors Awards was $51,000 going to rural community centers back in November in Buncombe County. The Journey Scholarship afforded $5,000 to youth in Buncombe County last summer. The TVA Ag and Forestry Fund provided $8,300 to extension for a permaculture project in 2014. WNC Ag Options provided $15,000 to 3 farms in your county this past year. And the school energy efficiency, as I mentioned earlier, $67,000 to the schools in your county. This total does not include sales benefiting your county livestock producers at the WNC Regional Livestock Center or the TVA Ag and Forestry Fund grants currently this year in process, or the Hemlock Restoration Initiative awards that impact the entire region. But lastly, I would like to say it has been an honor to be a part of service to our rural communities and the agriculture sector and forestry sectors over the last 66 years, thanks to your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lamp. Any questions for Ms. Lamp? Thank you, Linda. Next, we'll hear from the Mediation Center, Downtown Association, Lions, and Swannanoa Valley Christian Ministry.
Good morning. I'm Laura Jeffords, Executive Director of the Mediation Center, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Family Visitation Program. The Family Visitation Program, serves families in Buncombe County who have a high risk or a history of domestic violence, child abuse, and child abduction. We provide two services to these families. One is supervised visitation. The other is monitored child exchange. Supervised visitation provides a way for a child to visit with their non-custodial parent when the court has decided that that visit can't safely happen without a professional supervisor. Supervised visitation provides an alternative to two things. One is that child being cut off from their non-custodial parent, which research shows us is a predictor of poor mental health as an adult. The other option is that the child visits with the parent unsupervised in a way that is not safe, which can lead to additional trauma, ongoing abuse, and ongoing domestic violence toward the victim parent. Safe Child Exchange is similar in that we help parents exchange their child without having contact with each other. This keeps the parent, the victim parent, from having contact with their abuser every single week. It keeps their children from seeing abuse, from seeing arguing, and from being re-traumatized by the contact between their parent on a weekly basis. Kids dread those exchanges. They're hard, they're stressful, and they add to their trauma. We can't do this without you. We have funding from the Governor's Crime Commission, we have funding from the United Way, we have support from our donors, and we have a gap of $24,000 to be able to serve all the families who are referred to us. Right now, we have 10 families who are on a waiting list who are waiting for a spot to visit with their kids, and we're worried about the safety of those families, we're worried about the well-being of those children, and we don't have the funding to get them in for visits or exchanges. So this program fits well with Buncombe County's comprehensive plan to address domestic violence. It's just a piece of the pie, but it's an important piece of the pie to the families that we serve. We expect to serve 70 families this year. Our referrals are increasing dramatically, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have the capacity and if we have the funding if we're serving 80 to 90 families next year. The referrals just keep coming. We know that domestic violence is an important problem in Buncombe County, and we want the service to be available for the families who need it. We've been doing this since about 2007. We've grown over the years. Last year, we provided about 900 supervised visits and 150 safe child exchanges, and there's even more need. So thank you for considering support of this program. Thank you for supporting these families who really need this help. They need Buncombe County's help. They need the Family Visitations program's help, and their kids need help to be able to feel safe and to heal from violence and abuse. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Laura? Thank you, ma'am. Adrian, Downtown Association, Asheville Lions, iClinic, Swannanoa Valley Christian, Appalachian Sustainable Ag Project.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gant and fellow commissioners. I'm Adrian Vasallo here on behalf of the Asheville Downtown Association and Foundation. We're requesting support for the nearly 100 events that we will produce in this year alone. These events draw over 100,000 of our citizens and visitors into the downtown community to shop, dine, and play. These events are free and open to the general public, and we do them for two reasons: to build a vibrant community and to support local business. We've already kicked off the event season with Easter on the Green a few weeks ago, where we had over 2,000 children and parents enjoy a Saturday afternoon in our downtown. And next month, we will kick off the 27th season of Downtown After 5. However, we're not resting on our laurels. We are kicking off a new Sunday Music in the Park series in May, which will be on Sunday afternoons from 4 to 6 p.m. right here in Pack Square Park, right across the street, and will be a perfect venue for local families to come enjoy a Sunday picnic and enjoy local entertainment. We also, after Memorial Day, kick off the Pritchard Park Cultural Arts Program. That series is in its 8th year and features Hoop Jam on Tuesday nights. On Wednesday nights, we have a partnership with Leaf Schools and Streets, where local teaching artists are out there demonstrating skills and teaching school children in the park. On Thursday nights, we have the Homegrown Series, which supports our local singer-songwriter community. And finally, on Friday, we support the Drum Circle by permitting the park and providing insurance for that iconic event in our downtown. However, our two largest events are our Independence Day celebration, which we took on last summer, and the Asheville Holiday Parade and Jingle Fest. Those two events alone draw over 15,000 to 25,000 people an event. These events are produced with over 400 of our local citizens as volunteers. But I've said often that sweat does not keep the light on. We need financial support, just like we need our in-kind support from the city and the corporate support from our financial partners. I hope you find this request favorable, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Adrian,
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Asheville Lions Eye Clinic, Shenandoah Valley Christian, Appalachian Sustainable Ag, and ARC after that.
Hi, my name is Jackie Rice. I'm the Executive Director of the Asheville Lions Eye Clinic. The Eye Clinic has been in operation since the 1930s, but over the years we have streamlined our role and changed our role to meet the needs of the community and spend our community dollars in the best way we see fit to reach the most people and provide the most service. Over the past 5 to 10 years, we've sort of streamlined into a program called Eye Care. The Eye Care program has 2 parts, and we are requesting $25,000 to partially fund this program, and it is co-funded by fundraising from the Asheville Lions Club. The first part is vision screenings. We provide about anywhere from 13,000 to 14,000 vision screenings every year. That is a near and far acuity screening, something similar to like what you do at the DMV for a vision test. We provide these services to between 9,000 and 10,000 individuals. Of those 9,000 to 10,000 individuals, 80 to 85% of them are school-age children between the ages of 4 years in preschool up to 18 years if they're seniors. We provide these screenings in all of the city and county elementary, middle, and high schools, the charter schools, the parochial schools, and the private schools. The other 15 to 20% of our screenings are provided in the community to adults who work in our community at local factories and businesses and who participate in several community health fairs that we do every year. Of these screenings that we provide, we have about a 30% referral rate, which would be 20/40 or worse. That's an ophthalmologist standard. At 20/40 or worse, it is referred that you go and see an eye care specialist for further evaluation. For students, we have a referral process that we use with the school nurses. Each student is screened twice. After they fail a second screening, we send a letter home to their parents letting them know that they have failed a second vision screening at school and that we feel like it would benefit them to take their child to see an eye care specialist. And if they cannot afford it, then we offer financial assistance for that, which brings me to part 2 of our program, which is the eye care assistance part. This is a big piece. Since November of 2011, Medicaid has quit paying for eye care assistance for anyone over the age of 21, unless you have a mitigating circumstance such as diabetes or glaucoma, something like that. So having said that, we've seen a huge increase in requests since then. We used to get maybe 10 requests a month for eye care assistance. Now we get anywhere from 50 to sometimes 100, depending on the month, depending on the time of year. So on an annual basis, on average, I get about 800 requests for eye care assistance a month. We're able to secure eye care assistance in the form of eye exams and or eyeglasses for approximately 300 to 350 of those people. The trend is not going away. We're not seeing a decrease in need for these or requests for these services. So we hope that you can continue to fund us, and we appreciate all the years that you have.
Thank you, Jackie. Any questions for Ms. Wise? Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Shenandoah Valley Christian Ministry, Appalachian Sustainable, ARC, and YMI.
Good afternoon. I'm Renee Brame, Director of Shenandoah Valley Christian Ministry. We've been in ministry since 1975. We serve clients who are living in poverty, those who live in the Ridgecrest area to the East Asheville area right at the VA hospital. During 2014, we provided more than 18,000 services. The role of the ministry is to help with those in poverty and in hardship to have both their basic and emergency needs, and we have a GED program, and we help send clients to give them scholarships to go to AB Tech. We are requesting $25,000 to continue our community service navigator position at the ministry. This position was put into place in December of 2012 thanks to the vision of Mandy Stone, and it was a tremendous vision and an asset to those people who are living in poverty. Prior to the establishment of the position, the ministry, we kind of did the mechanics of the things that needed to be done and offered the basic services and financial help, but we didn't know a lot about what was available in the greater Buncombe County area with health and human services. So this has really been a wonderful, wonderful asset to the poor people. Just real quickly, the kinds of things that our community service navigator refers people to is for health care, medication assistance, Medicaid, health insurance, job resources and employment, housing, child care, legal, phone access, home repair and weatherization, services for the elderly, substance abuse programs, and the schedule of meeting and places, food beyond what the ministry can give, and many, many other vital services that are to do with health, well-being, and care. And I'm just going to kind of sum this up real quickly by saying our community service navigator can go more in-depth with clients than our ministry can. We have so many clients coming in, we cannot possibly manage them and spend the in-depth time with them that they need. I don't know if you've ever been in the position of a client, but if you're on Medicaid and you need several teeth pulled and maybe some surgery, you try to get an appointment. The community service navigator, I can't tell you the number of dentists that were called yesterday in trying to help this poor man. If you're in a situation of poverty and you're in crisis and you try to take a step forward, you get roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. That community service navigator, it was a great vision to have those in place because they can go that extra mile. They know where those places are, where they can be referred, they can encourage. I witnessed a man who was suicidal, and the community service navigator person working with him, and he has gone from being at the deepest part of his soul just being torn out of his frame, not knowing which direction to go. Do I hang myself? I don't know if I want to live. And to the community service navigator and the director working together to get him help. And now he's very happy to be finding a job and working. Amen.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Renee? Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Appalachian Sustainable, ARC, YMI, and Asheville Area Arts Council.
Good afternoon. My name is Molly Nicolai, and I'm a program director with ASAP. I'm here today to both thank you for your support in the past and also to ask you for that support to continue. Achieving multiple goals across the Buncombe County Sustainability Plan, our work is really focused around building demand for local food and supporting the farms in our region by really telling the story about where our food comes from, but also building those connections with those who grow it. So I thought it only appropriate to tell you a story that illustrates how your support is helping to build those personal connections with local food and farms. Chef Phillip moved to Asheville from Chicago to take on the role of being a head chef at the Grove Park Inn, serving both the Edison restaurant as well as the Sunset Terrace. He had a really great connection with some area farms in Chicago, but moving here to Western North Carolina was looking for those connections again. And he came to ASAP to try to figure out how could he start to build that connection to support and purchase from area farms. So I met with Chef Phillip to help him try to determine what his needs were and what the best farms might be to fit his purchasing needs there at the inn. And one of his top priorities is he was looking for someone that could grow greens to serve his restaurants year-round. Now, I don't know if many of you have grown greens year-round here in the mountains, but it is a challenge. But there was one farm that came to mind that is working on variety trials to really try to find those greens that do well to grow all throughout the season. And so I recommended that that might be a possible source for him to connect with Ivy Creek Farm out in Barnardsville. It also happened that Ivy Creek Farm was on our annual farm tour, and this gave him the opportunity to meet this farm in person and to go out and see their operation. After the farm tour, Chef Philip did in fact start to purchase local greens from Ivy Creek Farm, and while they also offer a CSA and sell at area farmers markets, it's this type of diverse market opportunities, working with chefs like Chef Philip at the Grove Park, that give them that economic sustainability to really keep their farm thriving. And last winter, when the sub-zero temperatures really threatened to kill all of the greens in their hoop houses, Chef Philip stepped up and purchased all of those greens before the freeze hit. In addition to building these relationships with Ivy Creek Farm, Chef Philip has also worked with ASAP. He was part of our Business of Farming conference, presenting on how farmers could sell to area restaurants. He's also reconnecting the Grove Park with our community. You can see him this weekend at the Asheville City Market. He'll be providing cooking demonstrations featuring local cheeses. And supporting this project will help us build the demand for local food, increase sales, and support Buncombe County farmers with training, marketing, and connections for direct sales.
All right, Molly, thank you. Any questions from Ms. Nicolai? Thank you. Next, we'll hear from ARC, YMI, and Asheville Area Arts Council, and then Asheville Greenworks after that. Then we'll take a 5-minute break.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting us to come before you. I'm Al Whitesides, Chair of the Board of the ARC of Buncombe County. And as most of you know, our mission is that we foster respect and access, giving people with disabilities the power to achieve a full and satisfying life through strong grassroots network of 140,000 members nationwide and over 700 state and local organizations nationally. Here in Buncombe County, we have been active since 1957, when a group of parents and relatives with people with disabilities started our organization. And we'd like to thank you for over the past 10 years of the support that we've gotten from Buncombe County. And as a result of the support we've gotten from you, this year, for the first time, we will get CDBG funds from the city that will help broaden. We can help more people than we've helped in the past. And also, we're starting the year off with more grants than we've had in quite a number of years. But specifically, we'd like to say that the ARC of Buncombe County, our request for $35,000, it will provide 220 students and adults health and wellness from 9/1/15 through 6/1/16. 72 individuals through crisis intervention from 7/1/15 through 6/30/16, and creating opportunities by refocusing education, intensive case management initiative to 30 exceptional children and their families who attend high school at Asheville High, the William Randolph program, and Asheville Middle School. As you know, we've had the program for quite a number of years at T.C. Robertson that we're continuing with funds, and we started this year at Inca High School. And I would just like to say that the people we work with are the ones that have no representatives. You know, a lot don't vote, but we're concerned to help them because they need a voice and people to represent them. And how I got involved is early on as a kid. We had a young man in our neighborhood who was disabled. And I got into more fights defending him from the kids who were picking on him. But I always said if I would get in a position to help people with disabilities, I would. And that's why today, even though I'm retired, this is the only organization that I really work with. Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Next, we'll hear from YMI, Asheville Area Arts, and Asheville Greenworks.
Hello. I'm Sharon West, and I am the chair of the board of the YMI Cultural Center. And want to say thank you so much, commissioners, for your support of the YMI over the years as we enter into our 123rd year of existence, an organization who is believed to be the oldest institution of its kind in the entire country, located here in Buncombe County. We make an emphasis and put our emphasis on cultural awareness, enhancing cultural awareness in our community, but also expanding cultural expression. We do this through education, through entrepreneurship and economics. So we're very proud of our collaboration with UNC Asheville, as we're now offering day and night classes at the YMI from UNCA. We're entering into our second year of this collaboration. We also are very pleased about our Dixon Stevens Leadership Institute for those young adults ages 22 through 35 to expand on their experiences, to expand on their business and leadership skills. And then we're excited about the exhibitions that we are able to put on, such as Cash Crop, which depicted the transatlantic slave trade on last year, which was very popular and allowed the students from middle schools and elementary schools to come through and view. We're very excited about May 1st offering our documentary. We were contacted by a local institution in Greensboro and wanting to know if we would host the Nina Simone documentary. So we'll be showing that on May 1st. Hope you can join us for that from 12 until 3. And then in June, the National Institutes of Health would like for us to exhibit the Contemporary African American Surgeon exhibition, which we'll have for the entire month of June. Our facility is 18,000 square feet. Our facility is 122 years old. Our facility is one that we put a lot of emphasis on infrastructure, sustainability, and to make sure it's safe and secure for our community. I want to thank you for your support and your emphasis you place on protecting our cultural history. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sharon. Any questions for Ms. West? Thank you. Asheville Area Arts, Kitty.
Hi, my name is Kitty Love. I'm the Executive Director of the Asheville Area Arts Council, and thank you for letting us come before you today, and thank you for the support that you gave us last year in our regranting program. So our choice of mission is to further the success of Buncombe County through the arts, because we believe that the arts brings huge benefits. In our collaborative forum, the Buncombe Cultural Alliance, we've heard from government partners and economic development partners that job growth is an important priority. And so we've focused a lot of our programming on building jobs and training entrepreneurs in creative industry. On the state level, our state Department of Cultural Resources also believes this is important work. And according to their data, in Buncombe County, we're talking about potentially $700 million in sales, well over 6,000 jobs. And so for that reason, the state sends funding to every county in the state. So the allocation in Buncombe County comes through us, and y'all matched that last year. We have that again this year. We're looking for support to build that out. Requests are generally 3 times the funding that we have. In addition to that program, we also have a program, a granting program that supports professional artists in making changes and moves in their career, equipment, training, that sort of thing, which is also matched by the state. We also have a grant that funds art in neighborhoods, arts education. One of the programs, a couple of the programs mentioned earlier are funded through that program. So let's see. 75 of the other counties in this state are matching that allocation from the State Department. Our training program, we work with Asheville Buncombe Technical Community College to train entrepreneurs in creative industry. According to the Americans for the Arts in 2012, the economic impact of nonprofit organizations was $45 million. So it's a lot of potential to grow jobs and to grow the economy through the potential that the arts hold. Our emerging entrepreneurs are where we focus our energy, teaching them important things in terms of business management. So in my last 30 seconds, I will just say that the arts also, of course, bring a huge value to the community in terms of education, in terms of quality of life, in terms of community, neighborhood identity, power in the urban core, outdoor special events, so many of the things we've heard and were eloquently stated by others earlier. So thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve in this way. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kitty. Any questions for Ms. Love?
Yeah, I have a question. How much is the state grant that you're receiving?
The allocation for Buncombe County through the Grassroots Art Program, which is one of the 3 grants, is around $50,000 every year. And again, the requests are about 3 times that.
So you're receiving 50 this year?
Mm-hmm.
But that you put out in the community, that's not for you, right?
There's a portion that we retain for administration, but we were able to re-grant even more than that last time because of the support that y'all lended to that.
All right, any other questions? Thank you. The next we'll hear from Asheville Greenworks, and then after our 5-minute break, we'll go with Eagle Market, Evelyn, and Green Opportunities.
Good afternoon. I'm Dawn Chavez from Asheville Greenworks, and I am the relatively new executive director of this 42-year-old organization. Our mission is to enhance the environment and the quality of life for citizens in Asheville and Buncombe County through community-based, volunteer-led projects. As you can imagine, this has been a very busy week and continues to be for us with Earth Day and Arbor Day, and you might have seen us and our volunteers out cleaning up neighborhoods, and we've been part of and supporting Clean Up Candler. We have a Hard to Recycle event this weekend. We're very busy. And I thought it would only be during the spring, but we are busy all year long. We keep growing, and we have lots of projects that I'll tell you about. We're requesting $50,000 to support our 5 core programs. And those include environmental education, which includes waste reduction education, cleanups on rivers and roadways, edible and shade tree plantings, countywide recycling events, and community building events and activities. And we accomplish this all with very little funding. For every dollar that the county invests in our work, there is the equivalent of $10 worth of impact that we produce. For our environmental education and waste reduction education programming, we're reaching students all throughout the county, doing recycling education, composting education and activities, and teaching about the environment in general and the impact that they have on it. We recently signed an agreement with the Land of Sky Regional Council to operate the recycling education vehicle and at 38 events throughout 4 counties, and 22 of those events will be in Buncombe County this year. So that's an expansion of our environmental education and outreach. We might be best known for our river and roadside cleanups. In the past year, we've collected 18.5 tons of trash through almost 200 projects and had about 3,000 volunteers out. And we continue to grow, and we accomplish this all through those 3,000 volunteers and partnerships with other organizations, universities, and a very small staff of about 4 full-time equivalents. So as we look to expand and have an even greater impact throughout the county, we are requesting funding to support our staff and our projects. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dawn. Any questions for Ms. Chavez? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We will resume at 1:15 by that clock. Next up will be Eagle Market Street Development, Evelyn, Green Opportunities, and Manna Food Bank. So if y'all can sit on those front rows, we'll be ready to go in just a few minutes. Thank you.
It's gone pretty fast. People are doing.